is thinking. All right, we are now live. Thank you everyone for joining us for another Science on the Sound. Today we are with someone that I have worked with personally, and I love to hear everything that she has to say. So Science on the Sound today, we're going to learn about clean wastewater for a safe community and how our toilet is connected to that clean water and the safe community. And we're going to be listening to Eunbi from Public Health in Seattle and King County. So if you've been to the Mass Center Aquarium for Dogfish Days of Summer or Protect Poverty Bay workshops, you have probably seen her and probably talked to her about septic tanks and wastewater and sewage lines. I feel like we talk about poop water way too often when we're together, but it's always for a great cause. So lots to talk about today, and I know personally I am very invested in this because here at the Mass Center Aquarium on Redondo, our water is a flow-through system, and so I'll let Emily here kind of talk about what a flow-through system means and how this talk really impacts us here at the Mass Center.
Yeah, so my name is Emily. I'm the lead aquarist here at Mass, and because our aquarium is a flow-through system, which means we pull water directly from the bay, we want that water that's coming into the aquarium to be clean and healthy for our animals and also for people to interact with in our touch pools. So it's really important that clean wastewater starts at home, and so that clean wastewater can come all the way to the sound.
Awesome. So without further ado, we'll let Eunbi take it away and share all of the cool stuff she has to say about our wastewater and how everything is really connected. And I know she has some great resources for the community to access, whether they're on sewer or septic. So please watch to the very end. And then if you do have any questions, throw them in the chat for the live stream, and we'll have about 10 to 15 minutes at the end for questions. So. All right, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and Eunbi, you can take it away.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Eunbi Lee, and I am working at Public Health Seattle and King County as a community specialist for the on-site sewage system or septic system program. I am very happy that I get to speak at the Science on the Sound program, as we know that this is a huge deal and very important things to the health of our ourselves, our family, and the community. And to keep it healthy, to keep it a healthy community, we want to start the talk from our toilet. Today, we're going to talk about how is our toilet connected to the clean water and safe community. And I'm really excited to talk about poop for 45 minutes. So toilet is very closely related to our local water quality, recreation on water, or our perception to water use. Toilet is the start of the wastewater that we produce in our house, along with all the other wastewater that is generated at our sink or dishwasher or laundry. And we want to make sure that the wastewater is being treated correctly and properly before it joins back to the Puget Sound, where we like to swim, wade, or just have time in the beach. Let's start our thinking from the journey of poo. So say you are visiting. I'm very excited about this because we're literally talking about poo so much. Let's start with us thinking that we are on a toilet seat and then we are about to flush the toilet. And once we flush the toilet, the wastewater goes down to our wastewater treatment system, which can be a septic system or a side sewer. Side sewer connects to the public sewer utility, and that is where the treatment is happened. So wastewater is treated through either septic system or public sewer. And then once the wastewater is treated, all the clean or treated wastewater meets Puget Sound. And that water is where marine creatures, divers, our family, shellfish harvesters, or our neighbors use for their purposes. And then after all this, we are also utilizing the water that is returning to our house and our tap. We're going to talk about the two different systems that treat the wastewater. One is public sewer, the other is septic system. Let's figure out the differences between the septic and sewer systems. First of all, sewer system includes a more centralized wastewater treatment facility that collects all of the wastewater within a certain area and cleans it in one facility and then treats it and lets it out to Puget Sound. So if you look at this picture on the very bottom, when we flush our toilet, then all the wastewater goes into the side sewer, which is in front of our usually in front of our yard, and then the pipe that is connected to that side sewer is connected to the main sewer system that connects to the main wastewater treatment system. At the wastewater treatment system, the pump station works many different ways to make sure that the wastewater is treated properly. It uses many techniques to make sure that the wastewater does not have the strong waste at the end of all the cycle. And then after all this, it is being clean and can get back to the Puget Sound. If you look at the picture on the top, it shows how the homeowner is responsible for the health of and the function of the side sewer. So the side sewer that is in front of our yard is usually the owner's responsibility to make sure that it does not clog or it does not break because of any sort of incidences, including root intrusion or any sort of impact that is being influenced into it that can create or that can cause any sort of breakage of the pipe. So when we are thinking about the wastewater, it does not just end at flushing. It actually starts from the flushing of our toilet, and then it continues with our side sewer and then to the public sewer system. On the other hand, septic system is like having a wastewater treatment plant in my backyard. It is a decentralized system where the wastewater is collected in one tank that is in our backyard, and then it collects all the wastewater as well as the oil or other solids into that tank. All the materials are separated by oil that is floating on top and the solids that is sinking on the bottom. And the wastewater in the middle is traveling between the chambers of the tank, and then it goes through the pipes and is being transported to the pipe that is in the drain field. And in that drain field is where the actual treatment is happening because traditional septic system is like a traditional wastewater treatment system where we rely on the soil that is beneath our yard, where the wastewater travels down through the soil, and then that is how the waste or pathogens, viruses, or bacteria is being killed, so that the later part, the byproduct of that, is the clean water that can finally meet the groundwater as well as the local waterways. So 60 to 80% of the treatment happens in that drain field where it is completely soil, and that is why we want to make sure that all the compartments, including the septic tank as well as drain field, is maintained, so it maintains very well. You are looking also at the microorganisms that are very cute on the bottom side. That has a sign, "I love sewage and thanks." They live in the septic tank to to eat and digest the wastewater, and they do that by digesting all the my organic matters in the septic tank. So in other words, there is not like chlorine type of treatment thing that is in the septic tank. Rather, we rely on these microorganisms to break down all the organic matters in the septic tank before it meets it is sending all the wastewater into the drain field, which means we want to make sure that they are alive and they are healthy, the microorganisms in the septic tank. So that is why we want to make sure that we we don't flush too much chemicals or too strong components into the septic tank, so that we can make them alive and safe. Now let's think about how a septic system works. We're now going to dive a little bit deeply into the world of septic, and I want to share this short animation so that it helps us understand how all this works. So all the wastewater that is generated in toilet, sink, shower, dishwasher, kitchen sink, and clothes washer are traveling down to septic tank once it is done. And when we are running the water, all the wastewater is going into the chambers of the septic tank, and then it is finally traveling back forward to the drain field. And in that drain field, you can see the pipe with some holes where the wastewater can come out. And then that's how the wastewater starts the journey of being treated through the soil. When there is some malfunctioning of septic system, it can be quite a lot problematic, because when there is cloggage, or when there is leakage or break of pipes, or some sort of like issues with the tank or the drain field, then the wastewater starts to it can back to our house, and then you might see some clogs, or actually the sewage backing up into our toilet or sink. And you can also see that the untreated wastewater is now being released to our backyard. So that means we are going to be observing the poop water that is very dirty, just coming out. It can be pooling into the backyard if it is not if there is issues with the septic tank. This is rare, but absolutely it happens with some properties with septic tanks. Old septic tanks may have some issues, but that doesn't mean that old septic tanks are all problematic versus all new tanks are good. It's very much up to how we treat it, how we decide on what kind of things that we flush through the toilet, and we flush through we let through the down drain system. Let's go back to our part. So when we are thinking about what to do and what not to do for our system, we want to make sure that we are treating what we allow to go down the drain is not including any harmful or anything that can cause cloggage. This is true for both sewer users or septic owners. We want to make sure that in the toilet paper only goes down the toilet, and everything else that is including wipes, flushable wipes, facial tissues, paper towels, disposable menstrual products, feminine products, diapers, or sometimes floss, hair, coffee grounds, or in the kitchen sink, food products or non-food products go into the toilet, go into the trash. So we want to make sure that those are all screened out before we just let them go and flow with the water. With the septic users, there are some specific things that we want to do to make sure that the septic system is not super overloaded or working too much within a short amount of time, which includes spreading out water use. So when you are doing, it is Saturday and I thought we could do loads of laundry. Sometimes we do 3 loads of laundry, which is not great to the septic because there is limited amount of water that can be treated and gone through the septic tank. So we don't want to overload it by doing too much laundry, dishwasher, shower all at once, and we want to spread it out throughout the week. So yeah, and then the other septic specific part of maintenance can be including the drain field protection. In your drain field, make sure that you are growing only shallow rooted or low maintenance plants so that you are not watering too much or letting the deep rooted plants intrude into the pipes that can cause a lot of breakage issues. And then also make sure that you are keeping your drain field clear of parking or building anything. We want to make sure that the drain field where the soil is, where the wastewater is using for treatment is not compacted too much by heavy weight on it. So parking over it or building some structures over it are not good ideas for your drain field. Let's talk a little bit more about what we can do as a septic owner. First of all, do I have a septic system? Sometimes we don't know. Sometimes I do, but sometimes I really didn't know that I had one for many years. So how do I know if I have a septic system? First, do you pay monthly bill to your sewer service? Then you may not, you are likely not connected with a septic system. Have you checked your septic records? I will come back to this on how to find your septic records. This is very handy for a lot of septic owners as they can see what kind of maintenance has been done, who has owned it, and how long has the maintenance been done in the last time. In your yard, do you see any septic components? Is also another thing. Septic is out of sight a lot of times because we don't see anything on the ground. Everything is underground except for some lids if you have any or some clear outs. So a lot of times it is out of sight, out of mind, therefore. So we want to make sure that we keep that in mind for regular maintenances. And also, did you hear anything about your septic when you bought the property? In King County, when you are buying or selling a property that is with septic system, the seller is supposed to share that the property is with septic system and that they have to do the inspection as well before they can sell the property. So if you have done this or if you've heard that you are buying a property with a septic system, you should have that in your record as well. Speaking of the septic records, you can find it very easily at this address called kingcounty.gov/septic records. And here you can just simply type your address in the map, and you will be able to see your history of septic system maintenance as well as all the records that is related with it. Sorry about that. If you have a septic system, let's think about why this is so important. Of course, it costs money. To be honest, septic maintenance, it can cost some money, just like how the sewer users are paying their monthly bill. So septic system owners are recommended to do the regular maintenance because it can extend the life and efficiency of the system, and it can avoid costly replacement or repair of the system. And it can keep harmful pathogens, viruses, bacteria away from you and your family, and it can protect the water and the health of the life around you. So with all this reason, septic is actually really closely related to the water quality of the local waterways and the community public health. From now on, I'm going to talk 3 things that we can do. We can do to make sure that the septic system is checked regularly, and is therefore we can prevent any big issues that can be related with septic repairs or replacement. First of all, inspection. So inspection is what people would like to do periodically to make sure that the septic system is functioning well. It's kind of like oil change or regular maintenance for your car. And it is the process of getting your septic inspected is that you are going to contact and hire King County certified maintainers and get their estimates and bids, and then you are going to work with those contractors to the maintainers to do the septic inspection. When they come out, they can tell you a lot of things about your septic systems. During the inspection, the maintainers do not just look into the septic tank, but also they look at all of the components of the septic systems, which include the tanks, pipes, effluent filters, or drain field, or any alarms, any sort of things that is just related with your septic. And sometimes they can do quick and easy minor repairs so that you don't have to contract out a different person to come out and do the repairs as well. And you can find what kind of work that they can do from our website, as well as you can simply ask the maintainers what kind of repairs that they can do. Inspection is required once every year or up to 3 years. Usually for a gravity system, it can be done every 3 years. For other systems, every year is a usual frequency of the inspection. As I said, inspection is going to look at all the components of your septic system, and they can do quick fixes as well. When we were talking about the septic record, you can find out what type of septic system that you have. There are many, many types of septic systems in Washington State, and typically and traditionally there are many gravity systems that rely on literally the power of gravity to let the wastewater down to the soil to be treated. If you have gravity system, every 3 years of inspection is good. All the other systems usually is going to require every year of service. Some of systems with more technology, more complex pieces require every 6 months, so that it can be kept up for the ultimate function. Second maintenance piece is pumping. A lot of times people do the pumping because it is required, and if you the pumping is to pump out the bottom sunken part of the wastewater. So in other words, when you are flushing toilet paper, say, the toilet paper may be completely disintegrated, but some of the pieces can be floating, or they can sink down, and the solids that is just accumulating over time should be pumped periodically. Usually 3 to 5 years of period is good for residential properties, but it can also vary depending on how much wastewater that you generate or use. The third part of regular maintenance includes riser installation. Actually, once you install a riser, you don't have to worry about it for forever unless there is some issues with it. As you can see on the picture on the left, if you see some of these green lids on your yard, it is likely that you already have risers. If you don't have risers, then the maintainers or pumpers have to dig into the tank so that they can reach to the tank lid so that they can do the work of inspection or pumping. So, but if you have the riser, then it is kind of a portal or access to your tank more easily. So it doesn't have to be done regularly. It's just a one-time thing that can be done, and it's good. So it's kind of like if you don't have a riser, then it may feel like your car not having a hood in the front. So it may be good for a long run to have a riser installed. So when you have septic systems, a lot of times what many people or most people are fear about is septic system failure. Septic system failure means that there is any issues with the septic tank or drain field or any sort of pipes that is included in the septic components have issues that it cannot treat the wastewater properly. If this happens, then you might notice it by some signs of failure. You may see some wastewater pooling around the part where the septic system is. So in this picture, you see the septic riser lid, and then right next to it is where the pooling of the wastewater is. And then you might see some water flowing in or out, or some really lush green color of grass around where the septic tank or drain field is, because it is getting a lot of wastewater because there is some leakage into it. If you are concerned about it, you can talk to a maintainer, but also we can also help you with dye testing as well. We put some dye into the toilet and flush it out and see if there's any very bright green, neon green color of water coming into any part of your yard. So if you are experiencing any signs of failure, then you can do these next steps. First of all, make sure that you understand if it is happening inside or outside. If you need to close, if you're owning a facility or a commercial facility, consider you are closing the facility as well. And use as little water as possible, because at this point you may not want to overload the system by doing any bit of wastewater generation. And have a certified maintainer diagnose the disease, the issue, and understand how big the problem is. And you can contact us at 206-296-4600 to consult with any technical or financial support that you can get. When there is failures of septic systems and therefore your poo is not treated, then it can lead into some community public issues as well, public health issues as well. Septic is one of many reasons that we have fecal pollution issues in the Poverty Bay area, which is around Des Moines, Federal Way, Kent, SeaTac area. And this is because of course, septic is one of many other reasons, including sewer pipe breakage or dog poo or wildlife poop congregating too much in one place. But all in all, if poo is not treated, then the pathogen or viruses that is in the warm-blooded animals, including human, can leak into the water, and therefore it can come back to us and cause diseases. And currently there is quite a lot of waterways that is being impacted and is not clean water for us to use recreationally. And Poverty Bay area that is near Mass Center Aquarium, as well as the Redondo and Des Moines Federal Way area is prohibited for commercial shellfish harvesting, as well as residential shellfish harvesting, which is largely due to the fecal pollution. So this is a map around Mass Center Aquarium, and there are some creeks that go into Poverty Bay. Those are called Redondo Creek and Coal Creek. And these two creeks have been monitored in the last 3 years, and then some of the sites or monitoring stations are exceeding the water quality standards, and we are monitoring them. King County is doing water sampling periodically so that we have enough data to understand how the water quality is going, and whether we need to understand what is contributing to that poor water quality as well. This is showing a little bit wider map of the whole Poverty Bay area, and all this areas around Des Moines and north of Federal Way is called including some creeks that are flowing into Poverty Bay, and the red dots here are showing where the water quality standards is not being met by exceeded E. coli or fecal coliform content in the water. So we want to make sure that we are continuing to monitor it and have enough data to understand what the trend is, as well as how we can track the sources of the pollution as well. This is showing that the shellfish is relatively difficult to be harvested in Poverty Bay. In general, there are some areas that public shellfish harvesting is prohibited, including the Saltwater State Park, and in general, this area is closed due to pollution for any sort of usage or shellfish harvesting. And this shellfish harvesting is important because it is not just it doesn't only really related with just the shellfish harvesters or consumers, but also those who have historically been harvesting the shellfish, including Puyallup tribe and other native people that are no longer able to collect and harvest clean shellfish anymore. And this is showing again the classification of water quality in Poverty Bay area is either conditional or prohibited. Some of the areas are approved for public use, but it is rather offshore, and a lot of times you can see that there are some unclassified, prohibited, or conditional settings, a classification of the water quality in Poverty area. When you have issues with your septic systems or sewer systems, you can contact us for financial and technical assistance. King County offers septic and sewer rebate program until 2026 March, and or until the funding is exhausted. And you can you can visit kingcounty.gov/PIC rebates, and you can see what kind of programs are provided and who can qualify for this program. I can share a little bit about septic system rebate. The septic system rebate includes the maintenance work for inspection, pumping, or riser installation. And if you are thinking about or planning to do the inspection, pumping, or riser installation for your septic system, then you may be able to qualify for the septic maintenance rebate program. For those who live around Mass Center Aquarium or Des Moines Federal Way, SeaTac Kent of the eligible areas within the Poverty Bay area, which is the purple line of these maps, or Vashon Murray Island, then you can qualify for the septic system maintenance rebate program. All the other areas within King County can also apply for the septic system maintenance rebate program, although you will, there is a little bit of income cap for this so that we are servicing the low income people first for the rest of the King County residents. If you don't have a septic system but are connected to site sewer, and you are the site sewer owners for the Midway Sewer District and Lake Haven Sewer District, then you can also qualify for repair of your site sewer as well. The site sewer repairs are very costly and expensive, and we want to make sure that there is some incentive going into that so that the wastewater treatment is happening properly and that the pollution does not start from your front yard. And this is just a simple and complicated table about what I have just shared about the rebate programs, including site sewer repair rebate and septic system maintenance rebate program. And you can find this in the website kingcounty.gov/PIC rebates. And any other additional financial assistances can be found in our website at kingcounty.gov/OSS. And these financial assistances can help you get the septic systems repaired or replaced. And these are very handy because a lot of times septic repair or replacement can be also very costly too. And if you have other questions about how you can be a better septic stewards or clean water stewards by using your septic systems right, then visit us at kingcounty.gov/OSS for more information, or you can also contact us directly by this phone number to talk to one of Sanitarians of the Day, or SOD, at 206-477-8177. And that is it for today's part of me sharing about the septic systems and sewer system. And I hope you have enjoyed this content as well as have some questions with us as well. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, so awesome. I know I have lots of questions. Been writing down questions here too. So I just want to say thank you for all of this amazing information. As someone who is also a septic system owner, new septic system owner, I really didn't know a lot about it. And I know a lot of people who come to the Mass Center are constantly asking questions about clean water and where's all this pollution coming from. So I really appreciate your graphics of, the streams that might be carrying some of that E. coli down to here. And I was really excited to see that Redondo Creek, which is the creek that comes out right next to the Mass Center, is below water quality standards, which is awesome. But my first question for that is, how often is that water tested? And is it multiple locations through the stream, or is it like one spot on these streams?
Excellent question. Frequency, this depends on how much water that we can test there. Usually, during summertime when it's dry, it is really hard to get any samples. So we try to make sure that we are spreading out the water quality sampling frequency by the availability of water in that stream. So this is actually the perfect time of the year to start sampling the water. Usually we do sample sometimes in like once a month or so kind of frequency for some of the really monitor heavy areas. And it can be more often if we need to find the sources of pollution. That connects to the second question of are there multiple spots in that stream that we monitor? And yes, there are multiple sampling water stations that we sample. And because the creek is not just, like 3 feet long, we want to make sure that we are putting enough of and the most feasible amount of sampling stations. And if we are suspicious of any sort of pollution on one station, then we have to sample think strategically on where we can sample to identify what is the problem of that pollution is. So we try to start from say 10 sampling stations, and then if we need to increase that by adding more, then we do that. And we collect all the data and try to understand if there are patterns of that sampling. And to understand a pattern, I think we need at least a few years of water sampling collection to understand the pattern, or like what the water quality is going for. Is it doing better or worse? It's hard to tell with just 1 year of sampling. So we try to do that by the longevity of this sampling as well.
And so I saw on one of the maps with the testing that there was a human DNA portion in the Woodmont Creek area. And you were saying that you kind of do a specialized kind of walking up the system and trying to detect it. So in that one, are you detecting, is it like one specific homeowner? Is it sewer? Is it septic? Like, how do you pinpoint that to get that out of the system?
Exactly. It can be dog poop. Honestly, we don't know. Like, that's why if we are really suspicious of one point and very confused, because when we are just sampling for the E. coli, then it is from dog or bird or us or anything that can be eating that is chemical food, not just the natural food. So we do the DNA testing for that, and when we run that and it comes out as human sourced, then we can suspect that it is either septic or sewer. And then we try to connect with the community in there to see what is wrong or what is going on in that community. And if we can pinpoint some properties that we think could have some issues with their septic systems, therefore there might be experiencing some raw sewage coming out in their backyard, then we try to help out. We try to approach in a sense that there are some resources that they can use to update their septic systems so that it is not causing any health issues or risk in that.
Awesome. So speaking of those resources, you were talking about there's rebates and there's grants. Do either of those funding sources run out? Is it kind of like first come, first serve? How do people around here take advantage of the great things that public health is offering?
Absolutely. If you live near Mass Center Aquarium, then you are most likely be able to just qualify for the septic system maintenance rebate that we give of up to $500 for your work. And those. Sorry, Ariel, going back to the question, you were asking how people can utilize those. We have started this program early this year, and then we are now seeing about less than half of the funding has been spent, and it's going, but we are seeing consistent request of the rebate program throughout King County, and we are and but if you are within that Poverty Bay Shellfish Protection District area, then you are not competing with the outside of the Shellfish Protection District area that is in other King County areas, which means that there is a lot more funding available within this district, but there are quite a bit of people who are utilizing it. So it is first come, first served. So if you think that you haven't done the pumping or inspection for a while and you want to make sure that it is going right, then it would be great to visit our website and learn more about that.
Awesome. So for a new homeowner with a septic tank, you said that you could find records of the septic tank. Are the inspection reports, like past inspection reports, also on there so we can figure out, it was inspected last year, so we're good to go, but maybe it hasn't been inspected in the last 5 years and I need to go and look at it. Okay.
Exactly. You are a great septic owner, by the way. Yes, you can go to that kingcounty.gov/septic records website, and then it's just a map, and then you just type in your address, and then it will show all the history of your septic, including you may be able to find what is called the record drawing, which is the official drawing of where your septic is located, where your tank is, where your drain field is, how the water is running, in which direction. So all that can be uploaded already into our file, which is shared it's a public record, so it is just shared with you directly. So you can see how often in history that the septic has been inspected or pumped, and then you can find out, maybe it's time for us to do the inspection or pumping. Yeah.
And so the rebate program, some of that money can go to the inspection cost to cover.
Exactly. Okay. Exactly. Yes.
Perfect. Mm-hmm. So it gives people that incentive to actually check their system.
Yes. Yes. A lot of times inspection may be around $500, so you can get it for free. Sometimes pumping can be a little bit over, but it'll be no more than $500 will be more than 50% of the cost of pumping. So yeah, that's, I would say, a good deal.
Yeah, that is a really good deal. So I absolutely love the septic animation. I'm one of those people that is very visual learner, so it was really good. And you're talking about spreading your water usage, which is something that I just wouldn't think about here in Washington. One, we've got lots of water, so you think that our systems would be able to handle it. But you're talking about spreading out your dishes, your laundry. So how do people find out how much water is their septic system is able to use, or where should they be okay, I've done 2 loads of laundry and 1 load of dishes, I need to stop now. Is there a way to figure that out?
Yes, there are, again, going back to the septic record page, you will be able to find out how much of wastewater that your septic system can handle in one day. And from there, you can find out how much gallon per day is being processed, can be processed throughout. And then you can think that usually people pee when they are, I don't have exact numbers right now, but you might be able to just find the average use of water when you are showering or laundry or doing dishes, those kind of things, and then add it up and see if you are overloading the system too much. If you are overloading the system, you may get some sort of signs by a little bit of cloggage in or backing up in your sink or toilet, or you might hear from alarms if you have alarms too. Some septic tanks have alarms, and it'll be very annoying. And but do not ignore the sign. If you hear that, then just call the maintainer and see what's going on. But anyways, you can think about the total water usage to compare that with the capacity of your septic tank. A lot of times people do not use up to that average amount of the water use when they're taking a shower or doing all that. But even then, when we are talking about spread out the water use, that means don't go into shower while your dishwasher and laundry and all the other stuff is running all at once, because it's just letting the wastewater go too much into that system at once. So we want to just make sure that you take the shower first and then wait a little bit and then do the dishwasher. It's a little bit out of mind when, as you know, a lot of people are on sewer and we don't need to think about it. But with the septic, it might be good to think about, I don't want to just set Sunday as my laundry day. Maybe I'll do once in Wednesday and once in Sunday, and try to spread it out a little bit that way as well.
Yeah. So speaking of the sewer, with our Protect Poverty Bay group and talking about water usage all the time, we talk about even on the sewer system spreading out the water during major rain events, because all of the stormwater runoff is collecting with our home water and then inundating our treatment plants. Does that also happen with septic systems too? Do we have to be mindful of the environmental water too?
That's a really great question, actually. So for septic owners, it's this time when the rain is going to start coming is really a good time to get their septic systems inspected for any sort of crack or leakage or any sort of malfunctioning. Because once it starts raining hard, then all the rain that is sitting on the drain field can be overloading the amount of wastewater that can be coming out. So when the soil is dry, then we can let out more wastewater, so to speak, and then there is more pore or places where the wastewater can travel through. But if it's saturated with rainwater, then it's really difficult for the wastewater to be treated through all that already saturated soil. So that means that is why we don't want to have any sort of like too much heavy water seeking plants on top of or drain field, because it is going to seek out for water, and then we have to water it way more often, which is going to overload the time. If you have, when you're thinking about the house structure, if you have the roof, the downspout that is heading toward the drain field, it might be good to turn it away from the drain field as well, so that it's not just adding more water onto that drain field soil. As well as other septic components, including the septic tank. So if you see the riser, then just make sure that we are not adding more water onto that.
Oh my gosh, I'm absolutely loving this talk, specifically because buying a house, I was like, septic, no, we're not doing septic. It just sounds so big and scary. And now that I'm on septic and we've had many talks, I feel like I know a little bit more. I feel like I can manage it a little bit.
Right.
But both septic and sewers, there's lots of things that people are flushing down the toilets that they should not be flushing, even though they're labeled as flushable. So in your presentation, you were saying just toilet paper and everything else goes into the trash can. Is there a law or something where, you can't label things as flushable? Because I feel like if I saw flushable, it would go right into the toilet.
Right. Those flushable wipes, they are evil. They are not flushable, actually. There are many videos where you can see how flushable wipes are not disintegrated, not broken down, even after like stirring it many times. Therefore, it is going to just, sit in your septic tank, or it will float and then maybe just clogging the pipe, and then you may suddenly see all the wastewater coming back to your, yeah, um, toilet. So that is very bad. Chemical is also one thing that we don't want to pour down into the drain as well. Chemical is going to likely kill all the microorganisms that septic tank is relying on to break down organic matter. So we want to make sure that they are alive and we are sort of like treating them well, so that we are peeing, pooping, so that they can have food and grow and live their well and happy life. So that's sort of one way to think about the septic system's health. And one thing that I start to think about is that a lot of people have, Ariel, just like you, have that barrier of thinking about, oh, I'm never going to live on septic system house. And it is true for a lot of people. And I hear that because lots of people just don't know much about what to do with it. Just like if we are the first car buyers, our parents or whoever that is guiding us will tell us that, okay, when you see the date of the sticker is coming close, then it is time for you to take it to the maintenance shop. And so it's just like that. And there is lack of education, a lot of part that, we are trying very hard to share this kind of knowledge with people. But once you get a hand of it, to get the septic system checked every once in a while, and then pumped, every 3 to 5 years, then it's not too much of a like maintenance if you think. And if you are just being cautious of water use, conserve your water, don't use water all at once too much, and don't flush too many weird things that is not pee, poo, puke, and toilet paper, then I think you're very good. Yeah.
Amazing. I really appreciate the analogy of, it's basically a giant piece of machinery that we're investing in. Once you learn a little bit about it, it's pretty easy to take care of and make sure. Talking about the microorganisms, I can just see them so, happy in there. I love it.
Yeah.
So my last thing that I know some other people talking about not putting a lot of stuff on top of that drainage field. And just kind of keeping it clear of non-intrusive plants and stuff. But what if you say you inherit the septic system and there are some plants and stuff that have been unknowingly planted in that area? Is that something where we want to then remove them and have us, like, people come in and inspect it and make sure the drainage field is maintained properly? How do we go about that?
That is exactly right. A lot of times, people won't want to get rid of rhododendron, huge rhododendron, because it has been the family tree, or some people just move into that or inherited all that. So, and a lot of times, like unmanaged. Like woods or the vegetation can be overtaking the place. So it might be good to consult with the maintainers to see what. Up to how much that you want to possibly remove or replant those trees and stuff, because they are, if they are like willow, they are seeking for water, so their root is going to likely travel toward the septic system because it is always generating water. So then it is going to be likely damage the pipes, and therefore that is a lot of burden on our wallet. So we don't want that happen. So definitely consult with the maintainers, and you can find a list of good plants to keep around your drain field, or that you can find all of the list in our website as well.
Amazing. That was my next thing. Is like, what plants can I plant around that? So perfect. It sounds like the website and links that you shared today, which we will also put in the description of this video, is kind of like your know-all for septic systems. So I as a septic owner appreciate it and thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, so we've got that was the last of the questions. We've got about a minute before we wrap up. Any last things that you would like to share with the audience before we go?
Yeah, absolutely. I think having a septic system is a fun thing. To me, it's kind of like having a pet of microorganisms, and I want to treat them well. I want to make sure that they live good life down in that tank, enjoying my wastewater, my pee and poo, and that I am also contributing to the health of the community, because if I am treating my septic system well, then it is going to help with the health of me and my family as well as my community. So, and it's a very traditional way of treating wastewater, which is relying on the soil. And it's clean and it's good way. So while it's well maintained, it is going to really help us and all the creatures that are relying on our environment. So I would say, yay, septic owners, and you're doing very well. And there are plenty of resources and within King County, and we are very open to talk about any issues that you or questions that you might have about septic maintenance or assistances. So yeah.
Such a great message. I will also think of it as another pet in my household.
Right. Yes.
Well, thank you, Eunbi, for joining us today. Truly appreciate it. And we will put all of the links that Eunbi shared today in the description of this video. And if you have to go back and rewatch and learn even more every time you rewatch, you will find this episode on our YouTube channel at Highline Mass Center Aquarium on YouTube. You can also find it posted to our Facebook